Here we go. It's time for another 5-minute major or a 10-minute misconduct. Rob Simpson with Hockey Wanderlust in Toronto, Ontario, joined by my distinguished cohort, Ken Yaffe in New York City. Ken.
Simmer, great to see you. Another great week for Hockey Wanderlust. No shortage of great hockey stories from across the continent.
Yes, indeed. And no shortage of great guests. Sam Cosentino, Sammy Baby, as he's known in the lounge singer circuit, is joining us from Sportsnet. This man is a guru of junior hockey. He knows it all. Scouting, prospects, draft, anything you want to know, Sam Cosentino. Hey, Sam.
Simmer, nice to see you, Ken. Pleasure to meet you or virtually meet you, however you want to say it. But yeah, lots going on definitely in my world. The under 18s has just wrapped up not too long ago, so it's back on the path and just trying to dig and get ready for the draft.
The first thing is fascinating. OHL players, they didn't play, no games this season for the Ontario Hockey League. They decided to take it on their own initiative and throw a showcase tournament coming up in Erie, Pennsylvania. Is this thing still going, and just how big a deal is it?
By all accounts, it's still going. May 31st to June 13th are the dates at the Erie Sportsman's Park. And so there's been a lot of details that have gone into organizing this. But the guys that I've been speaking to, Brendan Hoffman, who played for Erie last year, and Andrew Perrott, Nathan's son, former NHLer. And those two guys have been instrumental in not only raising funds, but putting the event together. As it stands right now, I was looking through a player list last night, 2000 to basically 2003 born players. And a lot of those players have just never got an opportunity to finally strut their stuff. You think about all the hours and all the resources that have gone into bringing these players into junior hockey, and to have it end on Wednesday night because of the pandemic, when you've aged out of the league, or you've passed your draft year, is really challenging. And so all these guys really want is just one more shot to be able to show the scouts that they're worthy of a Coast contract, of American League contract, and obviously the big dream with an NHL contract. So I give him a ton of credit for doing it, for sure.
I'm fascinated that 4 OHL players can get together, create a brand, go book a rink, and build the logistics around a showcase. By the way, not just any 2 weeks of ice time, but a critical showcase for kids to get to the next level. What do you know about the planning and preparation and COVID protocols and other things that they've had to deal with to get to, ultimately to get to June 1st?
Well, it's been challenging, no question, but they were able to go out and raise some funds either from parents or billets or corporate sponsors. And so that in large part is going to pay for the ice time. CCM has stepped up and offered their resources in terms of jerseys and socks, and potentially having someone there with sticks on board where players can, buy sticks at the rate, the discounted rate. So that part, the insurance part, was something that, as Ken, would be very challenging. And it looks like that's been taken care of. That was probably the biggest hurdle for this group to overcome. I know that some of the players going down there have also taken out personal insurance policies to ensure that whatever the tournament provides, that they have that additional security, which I think is a really wise move. So at this point, the way it looks like, they were looking maybe for 8 to 10 teams, 1 to 2 goalies per team, 9 forwards, 6 defense in each team. Lodging was going to be locally, and that was something that was going to be paid for through a roughly $750 fee. So it does sound expensive. What they're looking at is 8 games where you would play back-to-back and then a day off, back-to-back and then a day off. So 8 games, ice time, lodging included in that. They're at the Erie Sportsman's Park, so there's a lot of things to do outside of the rink, whether it's basketball, there's soccer, there's golf, that sort of thing. Now, I'm not familiar exactly what the protocols are in Erie, but the tournament organizers have said they're going to follow what the health officials in Erie have specified.
Speaking of initiative, a number of Ontario Hockey League players went to Europe to play. And I don't know the exact number, but I keep seeing prominent names. They go, oh yeah, he ran over to Europe to play because the OHL was unavailable. How many guys, which guys that people would definitely want to keep an eye on, and how did that work that they were able to find slots?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, finding slots is the biggest thing because you have import rules, because you have certain dates, because you have loan agreements. There's a lot behind the scenes. And Ken, you would be familiar with some of that stuff with your former job. But basically, what it came down to is the agents work and they use all their contacts. And guys like Brant Clark, who's my third-rated prospect in May to go in this year's draft. He and his brother Graham ended up in Slovakia, and they ended up playing in the men's league there, and it worked out pretty good. Mason McTavish, his dad Dale, played in Europe for a long portion of his career. He was able to play under a Swiss card. He was over in Switzerland. Francesco Pinelli, another projected first rounder. Brandon Othman, another guy, was over there. So Francesco or Curry, there's a number of players that had the opportunity to go over there, and really it's just about the parents and the agents digging in and trying to find out what spots are available, if there are spots. And it was kind of neat to see, because the flip side of I work mostly in the CHL, and so often you see European players come over. There's 2 per team allowed as a limit. And everyone wonders, well, why are they struggling or what's going on? Well, I think a lot of the North American players, the Canadian players that went over there said, oh, yeah, this is a big eye opener. New country, new rink, new style of game, new food, new language, all of these things that they had to deal with, aside from going out to do what they love to do. So there are plenty of them that went over there. But I think when you look at the World Under-18s, especially for Canada, those that were able to really shine in that tournament were those that were able to have been able to play some games overseas. Clark, Pinelli, Othman, McTavish as 4 of those players.
Sam, it sounds like the job, everybody's job was tougher this year in hockey, right? Less travel, more remote work. No one's really talking about scouts. Tough year to be a scout.
It's hugely challenging because most of it is video based. So any scout will tell you that the in-person viewings are most important. And the reason is, a lot of times after those viewings, you're able to meet the player. So you can shake their hand, you can look them in the eye, you can get a sense of how they carry themselves, their presence, so on and so forth. But on the ice, you're watching in the warm-up. Is the player taking the warm-up seriously? How is he interacting with his teammates during the game, away from the puck where the camera doesn't see you? How is he reacting to teammates? Is he pissed off because he got a bad pass? Is he mouthing back to the coach? Is he, injured and walking down the hallway, every other shift? All of these things go into the pot and how you evaluate a player, and speak sometimes more to the character than just the skills. I think most scouts are good enough, Ken, that they can go onto and look at video and say, yeah, we like him as a skater, we like him as a shooter, we like him with his hands, speed, whatever else. But all of those other things are really important when going into the pot, because you're looking at millions of dollars worth of investment into the player. And you're not just paying for skill, you're paying for how that player is going to fit into your room. So it's been hugely challenging. On the flip side of that, the video that's out there now, and I've been privy to Instat, which is a wonderful company that is able to break down by shifts or break down by zone entries, breakouts, all of these different things that you can watch specifically, is really helpful in narrowing down the video and trying to see what you want to watch. Also, you got Hockey Tech. They were a company that helped supported me as well, especially at the under-18s, giving me access to cut clips and to be able to watch games. And I was really impressed with the video they were able to provide. The streaming was absolutely perfect, and the camera angles were good. They had more than one cameras. They were able to provide replays and crisp and clear, in 4K or at the very least HD. So you are able to get some from video, but you cannot complete the whole picture in video, and that's what scouts have had to deal with. The one thing I'd also say, Ken, really quickly, is that more people are able to see more players on video. So what it does is really spark more conversation when teams go into meetings, where more people have more opinions on more players. And I think that conversation and that dialogue is really healthy for the end game, the evaluation of the player, and eventually when you get to the draft table.
Great. Really interesting, Sam.
Sam, real quick, because we got to hop, but it'd be remiss to leave this out, considering we've had a Dahlin 1, a Heischer 1, in recent years, a Hedman, a Kako, a Line A2.
Yeah.
The big Euro names coming this summer to the NHL draft.
The top guy would be Simon Edvinsson, defenseman, 6'4", about 200 pounds, and he looks kind of like a newborn deer when you see him out there. So I think he's still really raw, a lot of strength to be able to be, and muscle to be able to put on that frame. But the way he processes the game, the ease in which he plays the game, he moves so well for a big man. He's one guy. Simon, so that's Simon Evanson. Fabian Lysell is really one of the most fascinating guys, another Swedish-born player who at times can truly bring you out of your seat and you'd want to pay to watch this guy play, who at other times you'd be pissed that you'd paid for a ticket to watch him play because of the inconsistencies and sometimes indifference in his game. But in terms of speed, the ability to handle the puck at speeds, drive the net, score from anywhere, Lysell has all of those things as part of his game. And as you move down the list, Samu Tuomola plays in Finland. He's a guy I thought had a marvelous under-18, small right winger type, but again, really good shooter. And he's dangerous from anywhere inside the blue line because of his ability to shoot the puck so well. And you don't expect it from a smaller guy. Quick release, accurate, really hard shot. So those would be three names that I'd kind of focus on towards the top end of things. But I think Edmondson would be the first European player off the board. And honestly, I think anywhere from 1 to 5 is a reasonable expectation, maybe as far down as 7 for him.
Right. Sam Cosentino, right there, the best in the business. And you just heard just a sample of why.